Welcome to CinePro. Where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. The movie Tucker and Dale vs. Evil starts with two journalists in a cabin inside a forest. They're there to cover the events that happened because of a murder, but the surprise is that the killer appears in front of them and takes them out. To understand what's happening, we go back 3 days earlier. We see a group of young men and women in a car heading to a cabin in the woods to spend the weekend. On the way, a car harasses them, and among them are Tucker and Dale. The group is scared of them and say they need to be careful because the villagers are killers. But then they realize they forgot their beer and go to the supermarket on the way to buy some. Chad and Allison go in, but they find Dale and Tucker there and they get scared and leave the supermarket. Dale is attracted to Allison and Tucker encourages him to talk to her, but he doesn't have the courage. Eventually he manages to approach, but as he gets close, Chad yells at him to stay away, showing he's scared of him. Dale and Tucker leave too, and a policeman stops them on the road, asks for their licenses, and we learn that Tucker bought a cabin by the lake there and he and Dale are going to renovate it and enjoy their vacation. But the officer tells them that there's nothing there but suffering and pain, and they don't understand what he means. They go to the cabin and find skeletons and suspect that the previous resident was a scientist who used to stuff animals. They also find newspapers stuck to the walls about violent murders that happened before, but they're not interested and are very peaceful. Meanwhile, the young group sits around the fire after pitching their tents, and Jack asks them to tell scary story. Chad says he knows a true story that happened in these woods 20 years ago to a group just like them who came to relax. But suddenly, killers from the village attacked and killed them in very violent ways. Only one survived to tell the tale, and their bodies might be buried right under them. They think he's joking and that the story isn't true. Then one of their friends tells them he found a lake nearby and they all get excited to go swimming. At that time, Dale and Tucker are fishing in a boat and see the group swim. Allison is standing on a rock about to jump into the water, but when she sees them, she gets scared, falls into the water and loses consciousness. Dale quickly jumps in to save her, but the group sees him and gets scared, thinking he's kidnapping her even though Dale and Tucker keep calling to them, surprised that they run away and leave their friend behind. They go to Chad and tell him that the killer villagers have kidnapped their friend and will probably kill her. The next day, Allison wakes up and sees a one-eyed dog in front of her and Dale making food. He tells her what happened, that she fell in the water and he saved her. And when he called her friends, they ran away. The group is searching for her everywhere outside the cabin and can't find her, convinced that Dale and Tucker, the killers, have eaten her. Jack says he'll take the car and go to the police. The rest of the group reaches the cabin and spies on it, convinced that killers are holding Allison and they must rescue her before she's eaten. Dale brings Allison more food because she didn't eat before and is very caring. She starts to feel comfortable and asks if he has anything to entertain her in the cabin, so he brings her a game to play. The group decides that Alfredo, the bravest, will sacrifice himself and go into the cabin to save Allison because they're all scared. Meanwhile, Tucker is outside cutting a tree with a chainsaw, but accidentally cuts into a beehive and the bees attack him while the chainsaw is still running in his hands. Alfredo sees this, gets scared, and runs, thinking Tucker is chasing him, and the group runs after him too. But Alfredo accidentally runs into a sharp tree trunk and dies. Tucker returns to the cabin, his face full of bee stings, and tells Dale and Allison he saw her friend running like crazy in the woods, and one of them killed himself. Allison says there must be a misunderstanding and that she'll go look for them, but Dale tells her to stay in the cabin because it's dangerous, and he and Tucker will go outside to check on them. The group finds their friend's body and thinks Dale and Tucker, the killers, murdered him. Their friend Claudia takes out her phone to call the police, but Chad angrily takes it and throws it to the ground, saying they'll take revenge and kill them like they killed Allison and Alfredo. Then they hear Dale and Tucker calling them and run away. Dale and Tucker are confused about why they're running away, so they write a message on a tree trunk saying their friend Allison is in the cabin to make them understand. When the group reads the message, Chad tells them it's a threat to kill them all. Later, Tucker is cutting wood with the chipper and Dale is digging a hole to put the wood chips in. Allison comes out and offers to help, so she starts digging with him. At that moment, the group arrives, thinking the killers are making Allison dig her own grave. They split up and plan an ambush to kill Dale and Tucker. Ted, one of them, runs at Dale with a spear. Dale, when he sees him, gets scared and bumps into Allison and they both fall into the hole. Ted throws the spear at Dale but misses, and as he's running he falls into the hole and the spear goes into his stomach, killing him too. At the same time, one of the group sneaks up behind Tucker to kill him, but gets caught in the wood chipper. Tucker tries to pull him out, but it's too late, he's shredded and dead. They think Tucker is a psychopath and get more frightened. After that, the police car arrives and they all go there except Chad, who stays behind. They tell the officer everything that happened with the killers and decide to go to the cabin to see for himself. Meanwhile, Dale and Tucker are trying to get the boy's body out of the chipper, but only half comes out. The officer arrives and sees them holding half a body, asks what happened, and they start explaining everything from the beginning. The officer learns the group suspects them of killing their friend, but Tucker responds that they are crazy young people who came to the forest here to commit suicide and kill themselves. And Dale says that even their friend Allison has been with them in the cabin for a few days, and they didn't visit her or upset her. The officer decides to go with them to the cabin to make sure she's okay, and he goes and finds out that she's actually okay, but she's unconscious because of the fall she had in the pit. At that time, the officer keeps blaming them and tells them that he warned them not to go to that lake because the place is cursed. Because of their foolishness, they got involved in more than one murder. While standing in the middle of the cabin, he leans on a wooden plank which moves and falls on him, with nails going into his face. He leaves the cabin in bad shape and collapses. At that moment, Jack takes the gun that was with the officer and points it at Dale, but Dale tells him the gun has a problem. Jack keeps trying to fix it and accidentally shoots himself, killing himself, and his friends are shocked. Then Chad arrives at the place and starts shooting at them. Dale and Tucker go inside the cabin to hide from the gunfire. But then Dale finds out that Chad has stolen his dog. He tells him to come out of the cabin. Dale decides to go out to save his dog, and Tucker also goes out to distract them so they can get the dog. In the end, Dale manages to save the dog, but the guys catch Tucker and chase him. In the end, Chad captures him and beats him. When Tucker wakes up, he finds himself hanging by his legs in front of them. Chad keeps insulting and yelling at him, and Tucker doesn't understand anything. In the end, Chad keeps torturing him and cuts his fingers off. In the cabin, Dale is with Allison, who finally wakes up and asks Dale what happened. He tells her everything and lets her know that her friends are crazy and killing themselves, and that they also kidnapped his dog and are holding Tucker hostage. She tells him there must be a misunderstanding because her friends are very nice and would never do that, and that she will go talk to them and sort things out. But when she leaves the cabin, she finds a cloth, takes it inside, and they find Tucker's fingers and a message to Dale that they won't let him go and will kill and torture him just like his friend. But Allison keeps defending them, saying they're acting stupid because they're scared of their looks and think they're killers who want to murder them. But Dale keeps telling her that they are the nicest two people you could meet and are very peaceful and would never hurt anyone. He goes out to look for his friend and searches everywhere in the forest. In the end, he finds him hanging and frees him. Night falls and Chad and his gang break into the cabin. At that moment, Dale, Tucker, and Allison arrive and calm everyone down, sitting them across from each other so everyone can say what's on their mind and understand each other. At that moment, Chad starts talking and says that because of those hillbilly killers, the story he told his friends about the incident that happened 20 years ago. His father and mother were there and the hillbillies killed his father, and his mother, who was pregnant with him at the time, was the only one who escaped. When she gave birth, she was psychologically traumatized by what happened and was admitted to a mental institution for treatment. His grandmother took him in and loved him. He doesn't know what happened to his father from the hillbillies and what they did to him. That's why he came here and brought his friends to take revenge on all the hillbillies. And it seems he is also mentally ill like his mother and needs treatment. But Dale tells him that he sympathizes with him and is sad for his tragedy, but he and his friend are not to blame, and not all hillbillies are killers. There are peaceful people too. At the same time, Sam and Cody arrive at the cabin and see them through the window, thinking that Dale is forcing Chad to sit inside. Sam enters with a chainsaw, running, and runs toward Tucker. But Tucker runs away and the chainsaw hits Sierra in the face, killing her. Chad then flips the table on Dale and takes the gas lamp and throws it at him, but it lands on Sam's clothes. Cody throws more gas, thinking it will put out the fire, but unfortunately it sets him on fire and the cabin is about to burn down with them inside. Dale, Tucker, and Allison quickly get out and the cabin explodes. Chad is still alive with half his face burned. They run away to the car but crash into a tree and pass out. When Dale wakes up, he finds Tucker outside the car telling him that Chad kidnapped Allison and encourages him to go save her and be a hero. Dale gets encouraged and goes after them. Chad has taken Allison into a woodcutting workshop and tied her up, telling her she abandoned him and went to love one of them, and that he will not have mercy on her and will keep torturing her so she wishes for death. Dale arrives and fights with him, trying to free Allison. But Chad starts the cutting machine, which is getting closer to the wooden plank Allison is tied to. Dale keeps fighting him and finally manages to free Allison. They quickly look for something to kill him with. At that moment, Allison finds an old newspaper talking about the incident that happened 20 years ago, and sees a picture of the killer, who looks exactly like Chad. They realize the killer was his father and that his mother was one of his victims and was pregnant with Chad from him. Dale goes to confront Chad with the truth, because Chad is determined to kill. He pushes him out the window and Chad disappears. They think he's dead. After that, we see the journalists at the scene covering what happened, not knowing that Chad will appear and finish them off. In the hospital, Dale visits Tucker, who tells him the police found his cut off fingers, and advises him to get closer to Allison and tell her he loves her. Dale takes his advice, goes to her, tells her he loves her, and she tells him she loves him too. And that's how today's movie ends. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all new updates. See you in the next video.